Hello. Welcome. If this is your first time getting your intelligence tested, I'm not entirely sure what took you so long. It is common knowledge that you cannot live a fulfilling life without knowing how high or low you punctuate on the scale. The source of all your unhappiness could be directly related to the fact that you're not living according to your intelligence level. It is entirely possible that you are, to put it simply, too dumb for your aspirations, and you would live a much happier life by just gently stepping aside and letting the intelligent guide and protect you. So please take a seat and allow me to explain in words that you can all understand. Nah, I think I'm gonna take it from here, buddy. Yeah. Welcome to Drama TM, a place where you'll find takes so hot you're gonna need a fan. Today, we're going to be talking about intelligence testing and its incredible biases. But before we dive right into that, let's have a little history lesson. Plenty of people in the past have tried to classify others based on their apparent intelligence. One of the most known examples could be the Platonic Republic, in which an elite of intelligent philosophers were supposed to rule over all of those whose qualities were better suited for other jobs. But one of the main precursors of intelligence testing was Francis Galton. Oh, Galton, an old friend of mine. I've always been a fan of his work. For those of you who are a bit less familiar with him, he was Darwin's eugenicist cousin. Yeah, they don't talk about him much in family dinners. Eugenics is a movement that aims at improving the genetic composition of the human race. That is to say, to create healthy, strong, beautiful, intelligent babies. Better babies. That sounds fine, right? Except when your definition of better means white, blonde, able bodied people, you are leaving a huge chunk of humanity behind. Throughout history, eugenicists and proto-eugenicists have used a variety of tactics to make their dreams come true, ranging from only marrying your cousins to forcibly sterilizing disabled people and people of color. In his book, The Hereditary Genius, Galton postulated that intelligence was, well, inheritable. To justify his affirmations, he looked at the children of intellectual eminences and realized that they too grew up to be highly intelligent individuals. But what these kind of beliefs tend to forget is that our genes aren't everything. Even if we were to focus exclusively on a biological perspective, there's a bunch of other things interacting to make us into what we are. The expression of DNA is such a complex process that includes transcription, translation, hormone interaction, and a bunch of other stuff that would require its own separate video, if not a series. This alone would make it extremely difficult to look at somebody's family history and accurately predict what their level of intelligence is going to be. Huh. So you're going to come at me with that we're all born with infinite possibilities propaganda, are you not? No, I'm not. But what we inherit are potentialities affected by both biological processes and life experience. Socioeconomic level, access to an education, nurturing environments, substance abuse, or even parental affection, just to name a few, have a dramatic impact on a person's development and presented intelligence. And I don't mean only during childhood. The same person can obtain very different results on an intelligence test taken in two different moments of their lives. Oh, nonsense. Eugenics is such a fascinating topic, but intelligence testing has nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Don't they, though? As we just saw, the first people to promote eugenics were also the first people to generate and standardize intelligence testing. Admittedly, this could be a completely different line of investigation. Except it isn't. By not taking into account factors external to the test, some studies have deemed entire communities dumber and therefore less deserving than others. Lesser individuals, if you might. Am I the only one seeing a pattern? Moreover, even though we've come a long way since the first ones, intelligence tests still measure a specific set of skills in a specific way. And that way is sadly ableist, classist, and Western centric. If you're currently struggling with depression, your results are bound to be worse, even compared to yourself when you were not. If a child grew up without proper nutrition and having to work for a living, it is possible that they will perform worse on a test than a child who grew up learning 3 languages and how to play piano. Haha, so you agree. You agree there are people that are more intelligent than others. No, but people have different areas of expertise. Some of the typical tests include numerical reasoning, but some languages around the world don't even have words for numbers, as is the case for some Amazonian tribes. Some other tests also include verbal comprehension and other language-related skills nonverbal and dyslexic people would struggle with. Are we really ready to say that all of those people are less intelligent than we are? Still, taking an intelligence test for yourself to see which areas you're more attuned to or which ones might need a bit of work can be helpful. See? I'm glad you're finally starting to see the light regarding the topic we have in hands, because the problem comes when the bias numbers on a bias scale determine what you do and don't have access to. As a person whose IQ is allegedly above average, I've had opportunities to further my development that not all of my peers had. For 10 years of my life, I was enrolled in a program funded by the state whose whole goal was to boost my capacities to mold me into a future leader. Which, if you think about it, is also quite problematic because the pressure put on those children, those future leaders, to live up to our capacities and choose an adequate profession was extremely high. I am aware of the privilege I've had for being perceived as smart, and I have taken wonderful things out of it. But I've been able to do that only because I have some of the qualities this kind of test values. And I mean some. Please don't make me do math. Please, I'm begging you. But the image society has of me has also left me with crippling anxiety and a perfectionist strike that make my life a lot harder than it needs to be. And this is for me, a smart girl from the right side of the intelligence tracks. The consequences for those who have been less lucky can be a lot more severe. But if we let everyone become a prestigious scientist or a superstar, who's going to pick up your trash? I really need to up the security of my channel if these people are gonna keep on interrupting me. First of all, why do you assume that everyone wants to be either of those things? And second, we all have different capacities. We all have different learning processes and needs. But instead of categorizing people into more or less intelligent, more or less valid, we should be trying our best to accommodate those needs and help people in the journey of deciding which path suits them best. And definitely not using intelligence to discriminate and invalidate somebody else's fundamental human rights. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and share it with someone you think might need to hear it. Subscribe to my channel for more awesome content and click the little bell icon if you want to be notified when I upload a new video, which is probably gonna be next Friday, so stay tuned. Have a wonderful day. Bye!